this person right here. Hi, this is Randy. Is this Rick?
Yeah, this is Rick.
Hi, Rick. You're on the air. You're on the air with Randy and Randy on the
Hey.
at Nerdvana Live podcast. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Where you
trying not to freeze to death?
Oh,
I'm trying to
where-
get over a head cold.
Where are you calling from?
This is Rick from Missouri, Athlon, dude.
Oh, hey, good to hear from you again. Of course, I should have recognized your voice, man. Yeah. So what's the temperature like up there?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what the temperature is right now. I know it's sleeting and snowing outside right now.
Oh, well,
It's
stay
kinda
warm.
bad,
Stay warm. So what's on your mind
Yeah.
this week, man? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I know y'all talking about Battleborn, and that's another one of my favorite games of yours. So
That's
I
awesome.
figured I'd ask.
Well, you know, Randy Varnell
know-
is the creative director on Battleborn. What do you want to? Do you have any particular angles you want to dig into there, or you just want to hear us riff on something?
Well, I was just kind of curious, what was the inspiration for the game? I mean, it's such a beautiful looking game. It has a really nice use of color and stuff, you know.
Thanks.
But I was wondering what was the inspiration behind the game, because it is kind of different than most of the other conventional games. It's not exactly like Borderlands, where you can transverse back and forth between worlds. You know, it's more of a straightforward.
I'm curious to hear. I was already starting to imagine how I'd answer that question, but I'm curious to hear Randy's answer to this.
Well, you know, again, going back to, it's so great that we're here doing this because, in the times I've answered this, I don't think I've ever got to sit next to you and talk about this.
That's
because
true. Yeah.
My very first earliest memories on Battleborn are in a little conference room in our old building where, we were just finishing up Borderlands 2. You know, and we worked a lot on that. We're really excited about it, really, really feeling about that. And we worked together on some other stuff, you know, kind of been bantering about this idea for a while. And you came one day, I remember we went over to this conference room and sat down, and for about 10 or 15 minutes.
It was just you and I,
Yeah,
right?
it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
Got really excited about this idea. We were really excited about kind of the new competitive landscape in games, especially what we were seeing with, you know, Dota and League and a few of those games like that. But we share that kind of common background. We love Borderlands. We're really feeling that. We really were getting into making characters. We'd done some other exploration games on the side where it had been really character-centric, and we're really excited about that.
That was one of the things that I think I was noticing. You know, there's some things we're good at. And there's some things we're not so good at, but you want to play on your strengths. And one of the things we've gotten really good at is making characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. How do we play off of that? So that was part of our conversation. But go ahead.
A lot of the early challenge with the game really was around the characters. I mean, even before we had really brought the team on, one of the first things we did is we spun up a couple of our concept artists, and we said, "Go nuts! We're not really sure what we're building at the universe. We kind of want to do, you know, something that has a little bit more competitive bent to it, but we also want to tell a story but we want to go wild with characters. What can we do? You know."
Yeah.
And what was interesting, you know, is when we were making Borderlands 2, you know, we have a lot of cool characters in there, but when you're thinking in terms of player characters, we were doing some things in Borderlands 2 that were a little bit constrained, right? They share the same rigging, they have the same skeleton, so they have to be roughly the same dimension, the same size. And we started asking in those early days of Battleborn, what if we you know, remove the limitations, you know, and explored our imagination and really got that going.
That was part of it. There was part of it too that was trying to be like, I remember that first pitch to you. There was I was interested in like all time and space. Like, how do you have basically a Jedi on the same team as the Master Chief? You know, and like what universe can we create where we can make logic sense? And the other thing that you might not realize is you probably do, if not on a specific level, on an abstract level, you realize this. You see, Randy was working on a project that was a Brothers in Arms game that we evolved.
Right.
We kind of iterated out of. And the Brothers in Arms game, it was announced. It was called Furious 4. And but I
remember something about that.
The creative process was sort of gameplay and game design led. And it was iterating to a place that was not really recognizable as an authentic Brothers in Arms game, but there was something really freaking awesome that happened as that was being developed, and it was this. Because we had also, you know, this is in a post-Borderlands world where we're creating a Brothers in Arms game. So there's this idea of trying to get growth into the experience, but it wasn't fully committed to it in a full-on RPG sense that like Borderlands was. So one of the things that happened was you'd start a scenario, and in the middle of the scenario, you'd earn the through some growth process, basically experience, you'd earn a new ability, you'd earn a new skill, and you'd earn new capability, and you'd stop at a place and make a choice about how to, like, which of these new capabilities do I want to activate. And
you literally got on a radio and called into like the field base, and they dropped you some new tech on the field.
That's right. So you were trying to put it into some war context,
right?
But from a design point of view, what it was begging for was in the course of a single like scenario or mission, like, you know, you're talking about action that could be between 30 and 45 minutes. In the course of that, you'd actually earn new skills and new capabilities. And what's funny about that is one of the characters in Furious 4 was Montana, who survived this whole thing somehow, and he's a character in Battleborn.
He kind of got bigger though. I think, you know, he roided up for
when the art direction for Battleborn started to form up, like Montana got nuts. But the thing, like, I remember one of the choices was I could get a bear trap skill,
right?
And then I could throw a bear trap down, you know, because he was Montana, the forester guy, and there were a couple others in there, and I thought there's some genius to that feeds like what we want as gamers, and so that was actually part of the pitch. But that was the inspiration for it. I mean, it really did come out of things we learned that could work from Furious 4, and it's about growth, not on this macro level, but, you know, in the moment-to-moment action. And how do you have growth in the moment-to-moment action? And Battleborn, you know, from that came all these really clever inventions like the Helix system that was, I think, ultimately something Brian Thomas invented. That very, very quickly, in the middle of intense action, especially if you learn the progression, you can make a quick binary choice, A or B, and that will profoundly affect the capability of a character and work towards its growth. So that was a really neat, I think, core. But it did start from a design principle and a kind of a loose universe criteria that allowed for the variation in characters. So we didn't have a story yet. But we didn't have a style yet. No. But we had these influences that led to story and style.
You know, I remember the really, really early ideas of that universe where, you know, like you said, it was like literally dump your toy box out on a table and imagine, you know, it's what we all dreamed of as like 11-year-olds, you know, with our toy boxes. Like,
yes,
I've got, you know, He-Man is about to fight G.I. Joe is about to fight Optimus Prime. And
totally.
And how does that work? You know, how does it all go together? Yeah. So there's so much of that, the game that's just that childhood dream. I think, in fact, it was one of the early pitch meetings that we were bringing in that I brought in one of my old Star Wars collectible cases.
Darth Vader head,
case, and dropped it on the table. I'm like, this is what this game's about. It's about celebrating characters and celebrating kind of this odd, weird mix of characters in the universe that delight and surprise and excite us. You know, a promise for everyone. You know, we ended up going with, you know,